What day is it? It's Tuesdays are good if you can get them day. Remember that? We've been saying that all year long, T-Rex. Are you excited to go out to this beautiful Tuesday? I am too. Let's do this. Hey, wait. What happened? Well, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. If you like gray and drizzly and not too hot, today's your day. We've got a wet thermometer, although I don't think it's raining that much. It's drizzling, heavy drizzle, and 56 degrees here at 7:15 a.m. on Tuesday, June 10. Where does the time go? Where did the suddenly summer weather go? Last week we had a couple days of it, and we'll get a couple more days of it this week too. We're shifting the weather pattern a little bit now. We're getting the nice weather coming in on a Wednesday and a Thursday instead of a Monday and a Tuesday. And maybe that means good news for the weekend. We wish it did, but it does not. So we've got really heavy mist going on here. And we've got the workers out bright and early. Forms are continuing to be poured or built, taking away the knotweed they brought down last week. So really doing the best to keep the big dig on the Gulf of Weymouth clean here. Regional temperature roundup this morning. Boston at 57 degrees. The low temperature in Boston yesterday was 56, and the high did make it to 60. So the mean temperature was 58, and that's 7 heating degree days yesterday. Did you turn the heat on? In Burlington, Vermont this morning, it's 64 degrees. The light breeze from the south, that's usually a sign of warm air advection, and there is warmer air coming at us at most levels of the atmosphere. And Nantucket also has a breeze from the south, so there's a front right over southern New England with Boston being wind from the north. And here is the surface analysis that shows the old occluded storm. It's about a 996 millibar storm, millibars being the metric system, up around James Bay, Canada. And then there's a triple point low, about 1,002 or so, over Toronto or just near Toronto. And just south of Toronto, there was a tornado yesterday, in a global sense, just south of Toronto. And there's a 1010 wave on a warm front right over Block Island this morning. So a very fronty map. Again, fronts are boundaries in the atmosphere, and it's along these boundaries at the surface that the air converges, and converging air at the surface rises. And then if there's instability or diffluence aloft, you get showers and thunderstorms. We have all of the above for today. Yesterday, I was looking at the radar. What was it, about 5 o'clock? And I saw the tornado warning there south of Buffalo. And I said, wow, I didn't see that coming. But then I went back and looked at the Severe Storm Prediction Center. And the Severe Storm Prediction Center did say there was a slight chance of a tornado in western New York yesterday. And it happened. No reports of injuries. Our friend Buffalo Weather, we usually watch him for the snow in winter, sent up his drone. First of all, that radar really confirms the spin there where the red meets the green. And then he said there was a debris ball, that blue spot. That means that there was something incongruous with all the other stuff in the air around it. That's the correlation coefficient. And so there was a tornado confirmed by his inspection and his drone video. Now, this is over Great Valley. It's, I don't know, what, about 40, 50 miles south of Buffalo. And the damage, all the trees look like they're pointed in the same direction, but note, they're perpendicular to the path of the storm. So if it was straight line wind, it would have all been a microburst, all been in the same direction, but instead they're perpendicular to the path. So that was a shearing effect. Some, it looks like garages and barns were destroyed. The homes look pretty intact, and the trees were just severed there. So that would indicate winds probably of an F1 tornado, probably in excess of 80 miles per hour. And so it was not reported by the Severe Storm Prediction Center storm reports, but an inspection will show that that was a tornado. Cutting metal down there. Got metal cutting going on. Did you hear that? I've got my noise canceling microphone on, so we're not going to get the strong sounds from the birds or anything except for me talking. And T-Rex wraps himself around the littlest thing. Are you stuck around this little prick T-Rex there? You're free now. So yeah, we've got this front coming in. So no tornadoes or severe weather expected. Well, I shouldn't say no severe weather expected. No tornadoes expected in New England today. The satellite image first thing in the morning showed the clouds very thick over New England, so you can't really make out if there's much smoke, but I'm sure there's smoke up there too. And all of New England in the clouds and dense fog with those temperatures and dew points very close together today. There is energy coming in from the west. The radar shows the line of showers and storms crossing the Hudson River Valley. Most of the elements in that line of showers and storms, a little flash flooding there to the west of Philadelphia first thing this morning. That whole line is moving slowly to the east. The elements of rain are moving toward the north, so it turns into a trajectory of air and showers coming at us from the southwest to the northeast today. And let's just go right to the NAM. I am going to use the precipitation as a future radar is really what it is. And it shows the showers and storms there coming out of New York. They're already in Vermont and crossing from west to east. Now the front is going to start shearing apart, so it's going to lose some of its energy, and the threat for showers and storms reaching eastern New England now here about 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon and evening. So most of the day is drizzly, and then those downpours come in, and there can be intense rainfall. You may get a half inch of rain in an hour or less in any of these showers and or a thunderstorm. And that looks like a little second line trying to come across northern New England tonight. And then the rain and precip is pretty much done by tomorrow morning. And the isobars are kind of tighten up tomorrow. Now, you see the 564 thickness. That would indicate temperatures possibly in the low 80s, but inland, I'm not sure how much sun we're going to have because there's also some cooling happening aloft. So I think places like Boston, where we're only about 60 degrees again today, 70 inland. Tomorrow, we're going to get up to 70 to 80 behind a cold front where you can get warmer because the wind will be offshore and the air will be drying out. So sunshine and a land breeze will warm it up. That goes through Thursday and stops Thursday there. And it's going to get very windy. And the QPF on this quantitative precipitation forecast from the same models, last night's run, 6Z run, and it does not show as much rain as it did yesterday. There's the rain crossing the Connecticut River Valley midday, and it does still hold on to some pretty good downpours where we may get into the warm sector across Narragansett Bay to Cape Cod Bay, somewhere in there, even Cape Cod. Not as much rain as yesterday there for you, Kate, but it does show some small blue to purple, half inch to 1 inch, where as you get to the New Hampshire seacoast and the Maine seacoast, it shows very little at all, and some of the higher regions of the mountains of Vermont, New Hampshire, also coming in with a half inch to 1 inch of rain. So looks like we are going to water the garden. This goes out through about 2 p.m. Thursday, but all the action is done by then. But there's the close-up of how much rain. So it's a lottery. You can't bet on this being accurate in the geographic sense, but some of us are getting this hit or miss heavy downpours. All of us should get at least a little bit of rain. Dewdrops on rose petals. Love that. And so the rain on a Tuesday means we should dry it out. And Thursday, here's the Boston meteogram showing the temperature again today just barely above 60 in Boston. Wind mostly staying from in off the ocean where the water temperature is about 58 degrees. And then pulling Rex back up, sorry. The sun comes out. The sun comes out tomorrow, and it's going to get quite windy from the west, northwest tomorrow. The temperature goes up probably pretty close to 80, and the dew point goes down from 60 into the 50s. And then Thursday, we're in the 80s for most of us, although there'll be another cold front coming at us. But it looks like Thursday is the warmest sort of summer weather of the week this week. And then Friday, mostly dry still, but the clouds are coming in here, and there's going to be a front coming through on Friday, and it's a fairly significant front, which is going to put us on the colder side by Friday night, and then there's the weekend. It looks like rain for Saturday, or off and on rain, and especially central and south, with temperatures going back down to about 62 or 63 on a Saturday. T-Rex chasing a seagull. Rex, I love your enthusiasm on chasing birds when they're 30 feet up in the sky. That's pretty cute. I got off that that Boston Meteogram, the GFS would have us staying cold and gray right through next week, where the Euro says we're going to have a nice Sunday. I'm with the Euro on that. And by the way, speaking of the GFS, for 2 days in a row, the GFS has not shown a hurricane anywhere near the United States in the 2-week forecast. That's very unusual. So everyone's like, oh, maybe that means we're going to get a hurricane. There was a hurricane that formed yesterday, the first hurricane near North America. It's named Barbara, and it was off the coast of Mexico yesterday, briefly getting sustained winds of 75 miles an hour, has since weakened back to a tropical storm. And there's a twin out there, Cosme, also a tropical storm just next to Barbara. Very small storms, each expected to dissipate over the open water to the southwest of Mexico. So hurricane season remains quiet. And a quick look at the really big satellite imagery with those two storms in the lower left there. Shows all the dust coming off of Africa and a massive storm in the North Atlantic, sweeping that smoke from the Canadian wildfires all the way over to Europe. Almost looks like a block in the atmosphere, doesn't it? And maybe that plays a role in why we're going to have another Saturday wet and next week another Monday, Tuesday wet. So we're mixing up the pattern, except for we can't shake the Saturday rains. All right, so let's go to the Euro and play it out here day by day. And so we have this very fronty map today with the showers and thunderstorms, and ultimately low pressure is going to be to our north, so that means warmer air today and tomorrow, and very windy from the west until a front. It's very subtle. A front coming in here on Thursday afternoon, and Friday the wind is starting to come around more from the north, but we're still on the in the warm air. I think it's going to get more smoky on Friday. I don't think we're going to see a lot of smoke next couple of days. I shouldn't say that. Check that. Smoke is a question mark. And then that front is going to have a wave of energy coming across in New York late Friday. And then there's Saturday. It doesn't look that rainy. This is a more optimistic run, but it would be all clouds and showers in southern and central New England with a wind from the east on Saturday. And then you've got high pressure to the north, so there's going to be a pretty chilly air. And that 540 line still north of New England, just amazing. It's anomalous cold in Canada, anomalous warmth across a lot of the United States at that point. And then another system coming at us, and that looks really warm. 570, 576 thickness with a nor'easter-like looking storm. That is almost going to look and feel like a tropical system, except for the fact that temperature is only going to be about 60 degrees with that rain coming in here on Monday night and Tuesday morning. And now we have, that also had low pressure to our north, so that's going to be tricky. There's not a lot of high pressure to fuel that thing, but there's a lot of warm air and humidity because that's the Atlantic Ocean, and it is middle of June at this point. But anyhow, that's gone. Next Wednesday, briefly colder air advection. And Thursday, and that takes us out to June 19th, and that's about where it stops there on June 19th. And we have a lot of specks of precipitation over New England next Thursday. That would indicate, if this is correct, 570 and 576 thickness, that would be hot sun and storms type weather there just a couple of days before the solstice, which makes sense. Yesterday we talked about how we saw the 588 over New Mexico thickness with a 993 over Colorado low pressure system. A lot of numbers, I know. So that 588 is not as pronounced as it was yesterday, but that's a lot of hot weather across south central United States. And there's still some cold air there in Canada, so that means a real active pattern is going to continue. And I'll do what I did yesterday, where I didn't look at it, but I threw it in there, which is the QPF, the quantitative precipitation forecast. How much rain between now and next Thursday, going out 240 hours. And there's that strip of heavy rain coming across. Not so much today, but that would be Monday night and Tuesday. That's an inch or two in southern New England. And then you get the showers and storms kind of mixed in all of New England on Thursday. So you go out and stop it at day 10, and that shows some red, potential more than 2 inches, and some yellow, potential 4 inches in spots between now and next Thursday. Most of that would be coming on Monday night into Tuesday. All right, we're done with the weather. 14 minutes. I wanted to get a close-up of him cutting metal. I think it's fascinating that they lay all that rebar and then they cut it. I did walk down there yesterday. We're going to get a closer look at that. I'm thinking now, the more I watch, that there's going to be about 2 or 3 feet concrete poured right there. I thought maybe it would be just a foot or two thick, but they're not So there's the piece he just cut. He just threw it. So I might not be able to get. Look at him walking on that rebar. This is like a nice. That's talent right there, just walking on that stuff. Practice, practice, practice. So yeah, those ducks, thank you for Eric for identifying that those ducks that I was watching were eider, and I should have known that. They were here all winter long, and then they just had their babies, and they're not here now. So I don't have any birds to report right this second. So we've just got concrete workers and the big dig workers removing the knotweed. Thank you very much for that. You can't really kill it. Technically, there is a way to kill this knotweed. When it goes to seed in the fall, you got to put drops on the tops of every one of the seeds. And that is a tedious job that I hear they're going to try and partake. But for now, you just kind of chop it and chop it and chop it. All right, so there is Steve. Yesterday, we went looking around at different flowers. We'll talk about what's in bloom in the gardens. And that's about it for today. Steve and Rex both want to go in. Not liking this drizzle, are you, T-Rex? All right, here's the Enmore from yesterday. Thanks for watching, and thanks for commenting. So many comments. Sorry I don't get to them all, but here's the Enmore from yesterday. 1 o'clock in the afternoon on our Monday. Temperature's barely moved. Got a thick, low smog, fog, haze layer. Hearing a lot of banging going on out here. Hearing the motor. I don't know. What are you guys cleaning over there? Or doing or fixing? And also down here, constructing. Forms getting closer to being ready to be poured. And guess what's in bloom now this week? We've had the roses, we've had the peony. What's next? The peony are great, and the roses are great. Peony lasts such a short time. Roses, they come and then they go and then they come again, but not as brilliant as the first time. But the hydrangea, they can come for the whole summer and last into the fall, changing color the whole way. So a lot of people's favorite is now the hydrangea. A lot of people, my favorite, although I love peony and roses too. And hydrangea come in lots of different varieties. And these are the first hydrangea blooms I've seen of the season here on the hill, well above the Gulf of Weymouth, where it remains 59 degrees at Logan Airport with a wind off the 59-degree water. What a coincidence. Even though at times the sky has tried to brighten, we've had just a touch of mist so far. Almost ready to turn the heat on indoors. Not. And bramble. Look at all the bramble. 5:30, drizzle has commenced. I've had a couple spots of it. Thing is, hydrangea love drizzle, and especially rain. And the fact that we have them adjacent to our windows here in the front means that the sun really dries them out fast, so I got to do some extra watering. But it should be a good summer for hydrangea in most places. You never know how to prune it exactly, so more pruning is necessary here. But with this drizzle, it's good weather for ducks. So what do you say we go down back? Maybe Steve and Rex want to come out and see if we can't get a little closer look at those ducks and the babies before we wrap up this and more for our Monday, but now Tuesday. Of course, before I go downstairs, look who's here and wants to come out and watch. Yeah. I don't know where T-Rex is. He doesn't like to drizzle as much. Steve almost doesn't care what the weather is. Over to Steve's rock. You just hang out there for a minute. Leave those lovebirds alone. You come back here. Come on. Steve, this way. Get on your rock. Get up there. All right. You just stay right there while we go down and look for ducks. Not close enough. On the hill on the way down to the water, and a massive whistle pig. That's what Scott Dunlop told us it was. Woodchuck groundhog just scurried across and went under those rocks. So that's probably more likely what's eating my vegetables. I don't see the ducks right now. Let's go down and get a closer look at the big dig and maybe we'll see those ducks. Oh, and did I mention Logan so far has not got to 60? Oh, is that one of the ducks? Nope. I think I did see the duck though, but you know what I can't see? Boston, Fenway Park. It's going to be a dreary night at the ballpark. And look at that, you can't even see Hull right now. Heavy drizzle, fog, smog, whole deal. Don't see the ducks just yet. We've got everything except for the steady rain, just a heavy mist. And look at the forms. So looks like they're gonna have to build another form in there. They cut today a bunch of these pieces out right in there. I imagine there's gonna be some kind of expansion joint or something like that between the segments of concrete. So really fun watching. I would think they're gonna have to build another sort of form on the inside, right, to keep the concrete, unless they're gonna fill it. I don't think it's gonna be 3 or 4 feet deep concrete, do you? Maybe it is. We'll find out over the next few days or weeks or months. So the ducks have been hanging out over there. Regardless whether we find the ducks or not, this is going to be pretty close to the end of the Enmore for a differently easier edit. That's as far as I go. It's too slippery out there unless you have webbed feet and wings. There goes a cormorant. So that's it for today. The steady easterly breeze is chilling. Turn the heat on at your house. Linda in Princeton cooking indoors with a stove. She said it's the longest wood stove season she's had in a long time. I'm gonna make a chicken soup myself, Linda. There's the flag. More windy down here. All right, so this is the end of the day, and the time lapse pretty much just gray. On Cape Cod, did the fog even lift? Here's our Bass River cam. Wind on Nantucket, I saw it was gusting 25 to 30 from the east. Almost a little bit of a nor'easter. More to do with the high pressure to our north, warm front to our south. Cold front coming in from the west. That's the reason for our Tuesday rain and downpours. Any flooding reported in Pennsylvania or New York? Definitely maybe. And the vessels here in the Gulf of Weymouth pointed into the wind. Sometimes this time of year there'll be a lot of kids down the beach celebrating, enjoying the summer weather, but not today or tomorrow. We've broken our streak of nice Mondays and Tuesdays. It should be much warmer behind a cold front when the wind comes in from the west on our Wednesday and Thursday. A few spots in New England, 85 to 90 before the weekend. Has the weekend forecast improved any? Hopefully. There's Weymouth all day long in the north and the east. Very good. Thanks for watching. Talk to you tomorrow. Sun should come out tomorrow.